Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm gonna be choosing a new favorite horse. Legend was my favorite horse, but I think it is time to find a new favorite. So today I'm gonna be choosing who will be my 2025 favorite Schleich horse. Now I'm not going to randomly choose and be like, oh, Wizard is my favorite horse. I'm going to turn this into a little game. For round one, I will take two horses, and whoever I like the best, I will put it aside, and the other one that I don't like as much, I will put it back on the shelves. And then round two will be all the horses that I put aside, and then round three and round four just goes on. And the only thing I'm not going to do is use the foals or the ponies, because I'm really trying to find my favorite horse, and the foals are cute, but today we're doing the horses. I also have some horses that I have more than once in the same coat color, example Alaska, Silver, and Mystic, so I will only take one because there's no need to use all three. Okay, so we're starting really hard because I love both of these horses, but I think I'm going to choose the one on the right. Next we have these two, and again it is so hard because I love the one on the left. He's really detailed, but Wild Dust on the right, he's just a gorgeous horse. I made up my mind. It is Wild Dust who is going into round two. Next we have Sky and Confetti, and for this one it's quite easy. I'm going to choose Confetti. Next we have Spot and Sheriff, and for this one I'm going to choose Sheriff, so the horse on the right. Next is Legend, who was my favorite horse, versus Vanilla, the horse on the right, and I am so sorry Legend, but he will not be going to round two, so Vanilla wins this one. Next we have Moonlight and Crystal. Now don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Moonlight, but for this one Crystal wins. This one is hard to Blossom and Rocket. I love both of them, but I think I'm going to go with Blossom. Next is Mirabelle and Cinders. I love Cinders, but Mirabelle wins this one. Next we have these two. Even though the left one is technically considered a pony, she's still in this, and I know she's also not a Schleich horse. She is a Collecta horse, but I couldn't exclude this cute little face. Both of these girls don't have names. I really like both of them. That's the problem. Okay, I think I'm gonna go with a British spotted pony. Next we have a Sunshine and a Peppermint. Even though Sunshine is a yearling, she wanted to participate, so I wasn't going to refuse her entry. But for this one, I'm going to choose Peppermint. Next we have a Glimmer and a Prunel. For this one, it's gonna be Prunel. Okay, Orchid and Champion. I think I'm going to go with Champion. Next is a Sparkle and Winter. I'm gonna go with Sparkle. Then we have Everest and Misty. I'm gonna go with Misty. Next we have the left horse who doesn't have a name yet, and Faith on the right. I'm gonna go with the one on the left. Classic versus Ghost. I'm gonna say Ghost wins this one. Jewel versus the Andalusian Stallion with the white mane that I have three of, and it's gonna be Jewel. Next is Duchess and Glacier, and Duchess wins this one. Twilight versus Ariel. Ariel wins. Emerald versus Millie. I'm gonna say Emerald. Thunder versus Wings. I'm gonna say Thunder. Prince versus Poseidon. I'm gonna say Prince. Bandit versus Stella. I'm gonna say Stella. The Spanish thoroughbred mare that I have two of versus Magic. I love Magic, but the Spanish thoroughbred mare wins. Cloudy versus Altesse. This is really hard, but Altesse wins. Elsa versus Angeline. Elsa wins. By the way, this is not Blossom. She's a bit different. Iris versus Wizard. I'm gonna go with Wizard. Lady versus Galaxy. I'm gonna go with Lady. Okay, this game is so unfair. I can't between these two. The one on the left, his name is either gonna be Zeus or Onyx. I don't know yet. And the one on the right, it's Black Beauty. I cannot choose between them. Can I just choose both? You know what? I don't care. Both of them are going to round 2. They both deserve it. Okay, so Athena versus the Hanoverian gelding that I have 3 of. It's really hard because Athena is really detailed. I love her. But then the Hanoverian gelding, he's beautiful too. I'm gonna go with Athena. Eclipse versus Tulip. I'm gonna go with Tulip. Queen Bee versus Black. I'm gonna go with Queen Bee. Midnight versus Hope. I'm gonna go with Hope. Caramel versus Toronto. I'm gonna go with Caramel. Chance versus Lavender. Chance wins this one. Journey versus Firelight. I'm gonna go with Journey. Between Maestro and Cash, Maestro obviously wins. Okay, this one is a bit hard. We have a Raven on the left and Fancy on the right. I think I'm gonna go with Fancy. Next we have a Jupiter versus the Spanish Thoroughbred Stallion that I have 2 of. For this one, Jupiter wins. Shadow versus Diamond is a bit hard because I love Shadow's mold. He looks like a really nice horse, but Diamond is my first ever horse. Okay, I'm going with Shadow. Blaze versus Sam. I don't know, they're both really cute horses. I think I'm gonna go with Blaze. Raspberry versus Mocha. I think I'm gonna go with Mocha. Ruby versus Luna. Luna wins. Cinderella versus Butterfly. This one is hard. Round 2 for both of you girls. Scarlet versus Sunflower. Scarlet wins. Dream versus Texas. They're actually both kind of like the same. They're both paint horses. They're both chestnut overos. They both have blue eyes, and I just realized that they both have the same markings on the same legs and a similar face marking. I'm gonna go with a Dream. Ginger versus Rose. Rose wins. Peach versus Gentes. I personally don't like both of them, but between these two, I'm gonna say Gentes. Dakota versus Cherry. I think I'm gonna go with Cherry. Okay, Dasher versus Gaia. I'm gonna say Dasher. I also love that his mane is a bit wavy. Oakley versus Epona. I'm gonna say Epona. Cayenne versus Hazel. I really like both, and I think both of them deserve to go to round 2. So again, I'm gonna make an exception and both of them will go. Chocolate versus Indigo. I think I'm gonna go with Indigo. Foxy versus Willow. I'm gonna say Foxy. Brownie versus Marigold. I'm gonna say Brownie. The quarter horse gelding that I have 2 of versus Maple. Maple definitely wins. Sephora versus, the right one doesn't have a name, but I'm gonna go with her. Fairy versus Sleeping Beauty. Fairy is adorable. Sleeping Beauty is adorable. So I can't choose between them. Let's take them both to round 2. Bella versus Harmony. I'm gonna go with Bella. Breezy versus Mystery. I'm gonna say Mystery. Autumn versus Cafe Latte. I'm gonna go with Cafe Latte. Waffle versus Apollo. I'm gonna go with Waffle. Cookie versus Bailey. Obviously, I would choose Cookie, but I think Bailey also deserves to go to round 2. So I'm just gonna take both of them. Sapphire versus Aphrodite. I love both of them, but Sapphire just has a special place in my heart. Sienna versus Kit Kat. I'm gonna say Sienna wins. Hero versus King. I'm gonna go with Hero. Kiwi versus Aurora. I think I'm gonna go with Kiwi. Trigger versus Sunset. This one is a bit hard because I like both of them, but I think I'm gonna go with Sunset. The only thing I don't like about him is his eye. Whiskey versus Spirit. This one is a hard one. Spirit is gorgeous. Whiskey is gorgeous. both of them are going to round 2. Dancer versus Laura, I'm gonna say Dancer. Edition versus Honey, I'm gonna pick Honey. Zelda versus Tinkerbell, they are both so cute, but Tinkerbell just has this extra cuteness. Navy Blue versus Twinkle, I'm gonna go with Navy Blue. Okay, we are officially done round 1. All the horses on the shelves are the ones that were rejected. These horses, on the other hand, are going to round 2. Okay guys, we are starting a round 2 with Waffle and Thunder. Waffle wins this one. I can't believe she's going to round 3. Wizard versus Vanilla. I'm gonna go with Vanilla. I feel like she's gonna go quite far. Emerald versus Fancy. I'm gonna go with Emerald. Maple versus Ghost. I'm gonna go with Maple. Cinderella versus Altesse. This is really hard, but I feel like I can't make any more exceptions because there's only one winner in the end, so I'm gonna go with Altesse. Dream versus Mystery. I'm gonna pick Mystery. Whiskey versus Crystal is a really hard one. I'm gonna go with Crystal. Zeus/Onyx versus Giantess. I'm gonna pick the left one. Prince versus Bella. I'm gonna go with Prince. Fairy versus Mikado. I'm gonna go with Fairy. Jewel versus Butterfly. I love Butterfly, but I'm gonna go with Jewel. Foxy versus Tulip. It's hard. Tulip. Next we have a Cookie versus Spirit. Cookie's the winner. British Spotted Pony versus Hero. I'm gonna pick Hero. Navy Blue versus Indigo. I'm gonna go with Navy Blue. Mirabelle versus Confetti. Mirabelle wins this one. The Spanish Thoroughbred Mare Vegas versus Sheriff. I'm gonna go with Sheriff. Bella versus Sapphire. This is hard, but I'm gonna choose a Sapphire. Chance versus Dasher. I'm gonna pick a Dasher. Hazel versus Wild Dust. I love both of them, but only one can be chosen, and it's gonna be Hazel. But if I could, both of them would be in round 3. Epona versus the mare on the right who doesn't have a name yet, but I'm gonna choose this girl. Thunder versus Misty. I love both of them. Again, I would choose both of them to go into round 3, but I have to only choose one, and it's gonna be Misty. Mocha versus Rose. I would pick both, honestly, but the rounds are getting harder and harder, and I only have to pick one, so I'm gonna go with Rose. Blossom versus a Sleeping Beauty. I think I'm gonna take a Sleeping Beauty. Okay, this one's interesting. Kiwi versus Dancer. Kiwi wins this. Elsa versus Peppermint. I would choose Elsa, but I feel like Peppermint deserves round 3 better, so Quarter Horse Gelding versus Cafe Latte. I'm gonna choose Cafe Latte. Cayenne versus Cherry. I think I'm gonna go with Cayenne. Maestro versus Hope. Maestro wins. Champion versus Luna. I'm gonna say Luna. These rounds are getting harder and harder, and round 3 is going to be horrible because I love them all, but I can't wait to see which one ends up being my favorite. Athena versus Tinkerbell. I'm gonna go with Tinkerbell. Guys, just look at her little face. Jupiter versus Honey. I'm gonna go with Jupiter. Okay, so we have 2 Mustangs here. We've got Bailey the mare on the left and Journey the stallion on the right. I'm gonna go with Bailey. Sparkle versus Prunel. Let's do Prunel. Scarlet versus the Haflinger mare. I'm gonna go with the Haflinger mare. Sunset versus Brownie. Again, this is so hard, but I'm gonna go with Brownie. Black Beauty versus Ariel. This is really, really hard, but I'm gonna go with Black Beauty. Queen Bee versus Lady. I love both of them. Let's take Queen Bee. Caramel versus Blaze. I'm gonna pick Caramel. Guys, I made so many exceptions that now we have Duchess who doesn't have a horse to fight round 3 with. So based off on just how I like her, I do think she deserves to go to round 3. Guys, round 3 is here and it's gonna be the hardest round yet, but round 4 is gonna be even harder. Waffle versus Mystery. I'm gonna pick Mystery. Fairy versus Tulip. I'm gonna pick Fairy. Cookie versus Prince. I'm gonna go with Cookie. Jewel versus Crystal. This is such a hard one, but I feel like I've used Jewel more in like my vlogs and all that stuff, so I like her a lot more than Crystal, because Crystal, she just stays on my shelves. So I'm gonna go with Jewel. Maple versus Altess. I'm gonna go with Altess. I don't know, she just has like this cute face and some pink elastics in her mane. It's just so cute. Emerald versus Vanilla. I do think Emerald deserves to go to round 4, but I'm gonna choose Vanilla. Navy Blue versus a Hero. They're quite similar horses in terms of like their coat, but I'm gonna take Hero. Mirabelle versus Sheriff. This is really hard. I love Sheriff, but I'm gonna choose Mirabelle. Sapphire versus Dasher. Sapphire wins. Hazel versus the Mare on the right. I'm gonna choose the Mare. Misty versus Rose. I love both of them. I wish both of them could go to round 4, but I can't make any more exceptions because I've done too many. So I'm gonna choose Rose. Kiwi versus a Sleeping Beauty. I love both of them, but I feel like none of them deserve to go to round 4. Can I just bring Misty back? Could Misty go instead of one of these two? I think I'll do that. So Misty's in round 4 and the 2 behind her are done. Cafe Latte versus a Peppermint. I'm gonna go with Cafe Latte. Cayenne versus Maestro. I'm gonna go with Maestro. Black Beauty versus Brownie. I'm gonna say Black Beauty. Tinkerbell versus Luna. Luna is the one I'm gonna pick, even though Tinkerbell's the cutest thing ever. Jupiter versus Bailey. I'm gonna go with Jupiter. The Haflinger mare versus Prunell. I really like the Haflinger mare, but I feel like Prunell is also a good horse, so let's take Prunell. Next we have the Stallion on the left and the Duchess on the right. I'm gonna go with the Stallion. Queen Bee versus Caramel. This is so hard, but I'm gonna take Queen Bee. Guys, this next round, round 4, is going to determine my top 10 favorite horses, and then we'll see which one is number 1. Whichever of the horses win round 5, it means they will be in the top 10 of my favorite Schleich horses. Starting off with these 2 girls, they are so cute. I cannot pick. Fairy, she is so adorable. Like, she's just the cutest thing. But then Mystery, she's also so adorable. You guys can also comment which ones are your favorites between like 2 horses. Honestly, for these 2, I'm gonna go with Mystery. Jewel versus Maestro. I am so sorry, Maestro, but Jewel wins this round, so she's in the top 10. Cafe Latte versus Vanilla. Vanilla wins this, so she's in the top 10. I honestly didn't think Cafe Latte was going to make it until round 4, but she did great. Jupiter versus Altess. This is so hard, but I'm gonna choose Altess. Black Beauty versus Luna. I'm gonna choose Luna for this one. Rose versus the Exclusive Mare. I'm gonna go with the Exclusive Mare. Queen Bee versus Hero. This is torture, having to choose between 2 of my favorite horses. How can I even do this? Why is this so hard? Okay, hero wins. Misty versus Sapphire. I'm gonna pick Sapphire. Mirabelle versus Zeus or Onyx. I'm gonna pick Mirabelle. Cookie versus Prunel. The new 2025 and Ocean Mare versus the old, I don't know what year she is, and Ocean Mare. This is really hard. I absolutely adore Prunel, but I'm gonna choose Cookie. Guys, these are my top 10 favorite Schleich horses. I love them so much. It's gonna be so hard to choose between all of them. The rounds are getting smaller and smaller until one horse will be the lucky winner. Mirabelle versus the exclusive mare. I'm gonna go with the exclusive mare. Cookie versus Luna. Luna is such a beautiful horse, but I'm gonna pick Cookie. Hero versus a Sapphire. I am so sorry, Sapphire, but I feel like Hero wins this. Altesse versus Vanilla. Altesse is so cute, but I'm gonna choose Vanilla. Jewel versus Mystery. This is so hard. I'm gonna choose Jewel. Okay guys, these are my top 5 favorite Schleich horses. They are all so cute. We are so close to finding the #1 favorite. Okay, I'm gonna say Hero is in 5th place and the exclusive mare is in 4th place. Cookie versus Vanilla, I'm gonna say Vanilla. Jewel versus Vanilla, I'm still gonna say Vanilla. And Jewel versus Cookie, I'm gonna say Jewel. I finally picked my favorite Schleich horse. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye! Next we have Spot and oh, did I forget his name? Sheriff. It's Sheriff. Okay. I thought I forgot his name for a sec.